are some of biotech and or STEM's challenges when it comes to diverse representation, so for diversity, opportunity parity or equity, or welcoming and belonging, which is usually in the realm of inclusion? And what do you think is at stake if a company or the industry is lacking in any of these areas? So we'll go ahead, and I think each one has a microphone.
Okay. So I would say, based on my experience having run this organization for the last 4 years, is I'm not seeing a lot of exposure. You know, when we go to conferences, we're still not seeing a lot of women on panels. So one of the things we try to do is have opportunities and relationships with organizations like AICHE and introduce them to folks. I've got 6 chapters around the country, and my chapter in DC is almost all PhDs, microbiology. And so I say, when people ask, we can't find them, I ask, where are you looking? I mean, I've got probably 1,200 women who have PhDs in STEM. I mean, it's hard enough to get a PhD in STEM. And then you say you've got this group of women. So I think getting our membership exposed to the opportunities and get organizations exposed to what we're doing, I think is probably the first key. It's not easy, but there's organizations like BWISE, if I can plug our organization, that are focused on that. We are multi-discipline, multi-industry, and we really work across the country and really globally on developing both this network, which is open, right? Don't let the title of our organization keep you from joining us. To get exposure to folks who are in STEM, and specifically for this conference, biotech, because we're here. If you haven't heard of the National Science Foundation, they do a report every 2 years where they specifically look at who's where in the STEM fields. And just focusing on Black women, there are 25,000 Black women who get science and engineering bachelors every year. I don't think there's any company that can hire all of us. So when I hear people say we can't find them, I have to ask, where are you looking, right? And so one of the things I share when I go and speak, because I'm not a diversity expert, I am an engineer by education, is if you don't know that we're there, then your natural tendency would be to say, well, they probably don't exist because our numbers are proportionally small to the greater. So I say that's probably the biggest challenge, is finding partners who do know and can help educate and expose. And then I guess what's at stake if you haven't kind of seen the workforce numbers, if you haven't worked with millennials and I guess Generation Z. When I came out of school, people wanted to work. I don't know if there was even a thought for a lot of us to become entrepreneurs. Unless your parents are entrepreneurs, I'm not sure most engineers even thought that was a career path. We're very conservative, right? We don't want to take risks. But the kids coming out of school now, they have options. If you're a top student coming out of Berkeley, out of Stanford, you're probably going to either go to Facebook, Apple, some of these high-tech companies, or you're going to start your own business. So companies that traditionally had no problems recruiting, ExxonMobil, some of the other blue chip companies, they can't find the talent. That's why you're seeing companies eliminate this college requirement, because they cannot find the talent. So they're having to say, we'll take people who can do the work regardless of the educational pedigree. So I think that's what's at stake. You're not gonna have enough folks to do the work. And this is specialized technical work. This is not for everyone, right? So I think if you don't prepare now for reaching out, and I like to say, diversity is not bringing people that are not qualified to the table. It's making sure you're looking everywhere for talent. If you haven't gone to every school, if you haven't partnered with organizations, then you're not necessarily finding the best talent, and that's what we should be doing.
Thank you.